My friends, there is something I want to tell you today, something strange, something that sounds unbelievable at first. They say, don't tell anyone. Listen to this for 2 minutes, and money will appear out of nowhere. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? It sounds like one of those things you hear online, one of those promises that never come true. But let me tell you, there is a secret truth behind this strange saying. Only it's not about money falling from the sky. It's about what happens inside your heart when you start believing in possibility. When people hear money will appear, they laugh. They think of coins clinking, bills flying through the air. But that is not what happens. What happens is that when your mind changes, your world changes. When you listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit, you begin to notice doors where you only saw walls before. Opportunities don't fall out of nowhere. They rise up from places you had ignored. The treasure is not hidden in the clouds. It's hidden in your vision, your faith, your words. You see, when someone says, don't tell anyone, it's not about keeping a secret from others. It's about keeping a sacred focus within yourself. The more you speak of your dreams before they are ready, the more they scatter into the noise of the world. Sometimes silence is the soil that faith needs to grow. Listen for 2 minutes and something happens. Not to your bank account first, but to your belief. And when belief changes, reality begins to bend around it. There are people who say, I don't believe until I see. But the ones who truly receive are those who say, I will see because I believe. The invisible becomes visible to those who are willing to listen long enough, trust deeply enough, and act boldly enough. Money, opportunity, blessing. They come not from nowhere, but from the hidden potential that already lives in you. So today, my friends, if you hear this strange phrase, don't tell anyone. Listen for 2 minutes, and money will appear out of nowhere. Don't think about superstition or magic. Think about faith. Think about the miracle of attention, the power of focus, the law of sowing and reaping. When you tune your heart to believe in abundance, the world begins to respond. You will work differently, speak differently, think differently. And that difference, that quiet, invisible shift, is where the miracle begins. My friends, when you hear something that sounds impossible, something that stirs a small spark inside you yet seems ridiculous to the mind, that is often the very thing that carries a seed of truth. The phrase we began with, don't tell anyone, listen to this for 2 minutes, and money will appear out of nowhere, may seem like nonsense to the practical person. But hidden within that line is a mystery about how belief operates, how the unseen shapes the seen, how energy responds to attention, and how the world mirrors the state of your inner life. We live in an age where people chase quick results. They want a formula, a shortcut, a guaranteed outcome. They scroll, they compare, they consume, and they grow restless. But the secret is not in the formula, it is in the focus. When someone tells you to listen for 2 minutes, it is not about time, it is about stillness. It is about pausing the noise long enough for your spirit to tune into something deeper. In those 2 minutes, something shifts. The heartbeat slows. The clutter of thought begins to fade. And in that quiet, you can hear the whisper of possibility. You can feel life itself waiting to move through you. Money, for many, is not just a number. It is the symbol of permission. To live, to choose, to give, to be free. But too often we treat it as an enemy or a master instead of a servant. We chase it, we worry over it, we fear its loss. Yet it was never meant to dominate us. It was meant to respond to us, to the clarity of our intention, the purity of our giving, the boldness of our vision. When you align with a purpose greater than greed, money ceases to be elusive. It starts to flow as naturally as breath, because energy follows purpose, and purpose attracts provision. When I say that something will appear out of nowhere, I don't mean that the laws of nature will suddenly suspend themselves. I mean that what seemed impossible before becomes possible now. What seemed hidden becomes visible. That client you couldn't find suddenly calls. That idea you had dismissed suddenly takes shape. That door that looked closed reveals a handle you had never noticed. Out of nowhere means it didn't come from your effort alone. It came from the alignment of effort and grace, action and faith, vision and surrender. To listen, truly listen, is an act of power. The world is filled with sound but starving for attention. People hear noise all day long but rarely stop to listen. Listening is how you make contact with the source of creativity. When you listen, you are saying, I am ready to receive. Most people are too busy speaking, worrying, or doubting to ever reach that point of readiness. They want the manifestation before they build the capacity to hold it. But the universe, life God, whatever you call it, gives according to capacity. And capacity grows through quiet, through trust, through gratitude. So what happens in those 2 minutes of listening? The first thing that dissolves is resistance. You may not realize it, but resistance is the invisible wall that keeps blessings at bay. It is the silent gnome that lives underneath your spoken Christ. You say you want abundance, but inside you whisper that you're unworthy. You say you're ready for opportunity, but in your heart you fear responsibility. Listening allows that tension to surface. It lets you meet your own inner contradictions with compassion, and when you do, energy that was blocked begins to move again. That movement is the first sign of change. You may feel a new lightness, a quiet excitement, a small surge of hope. It may seem insignificant, but it is the stirring of creation. Every great transformation begins as a tiny shift in perception. You think you are only sitting still, doing nothing, but in that stillness you are actually rearranging the architecture of your inner world. And when that inner architecture changes, the outer world cannot help but adjust itself to match. People often talk about miracles as if they are exceptions to the rules. But miracles are not exceptions, they are expressions of higher laws. When you live by the law of fear, you attract scarcity. When you live by the law of gratitude, you attract growth. When you live by the law of faith, you attract the unseen resources waiting to meet your readiness. Miracles do not break nature, they fulfill it. They reveal that what we call natural is far larger than we have dared to believe. Now imagine someone who hears this strange phrase and takes it literally. They sit, they listen, expecting coins to materialize in their hands. They grow impatient, disappointed, perhaps even angry. But another person hears the same phrase and takes it as an invitation to still the mind, to open the heart, to listen for guidance. That person begins to see new paths forming. Their creativity awakens. They take inspired action. They meet someone who opens a door. Money appears, but not as a trick, rather as reflection of their inner alignment. The same words, two listeners, two realities. This is how life works. The outer result is always the echo of the inner vibration. You can shout affirmations all day, but if they are not rooted in genuine belief, they will not bear fruit. Listening allows belief to deepen from the level of the intellect to the level of being. You stop trying to convince yourself and start to know. And once you know, truly know, the world rearranges itself to honor that knowing. Don't tell anyone. Why not? Because sacred moments lose power when exposed too soon to noise and opinion. When something new is being born within you, protect it. Guard it like a seed under soil. People may not understand, they may laugh, doubt, or try to analyze. But faith grows best in silence, not scrutiny. Speak of your vision when it has roots, not when it is still fragile. Many dreams die in the stage of overexposure. Too many voices, too many doubts. Keep it close until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Listening is not only about receiving, it is about remembering who you are. Beneath the surface of striving and worry, there is a deeper intelligence guiding your path. It whispers through intuition, through coincidences, through moments of awe. That intelligence has always been with you. But to hear it, you must turn down the volume of fear and hurry. Those 2 minutes of stillness are symbolic, reminder that it doesn't take long to reconnect. It only takes willingness. There are times when you will sit and hear nothing. You will feel the silence as emptiness, and you may be tempted to fill it with thought. Don't. Wait a little longer. The silence is not empty. It is full. It is a womb of potential. In that silence, the next chapter of your life is taking shape. Though you may not see it yet, the unseen works quietly. Seeds grow underground before they break through the surface. Don't dig them up too early to check their progress. The person who learns to listen becomes powerful because they are no longer at the mercy of outer noise. They know where to find the signal within the static. They act not from reaction but from revelation. They do not chase money, they attract it. They do not beg for opportunity. They recognize it when it appears. They live in partnership with something greater, and that partnership produces a rhythm of grace that others mistake for luck. Some of you may be in a season where the bills are high and the hope is low. You might think, listening won't pay the rent. But let me tell you something, the same energy that creates a miracle begins in the moment you choose peace over panic. When you stop running in circles of fear, you create space for clarity to emerge. That clarity leads to ideas, connections, actions, and those actions, infused with peace, produce results far beyond what fear ever could. Fear makes you frantic, faith makes you focused. Money, when it comes, should not own you. It should serve you. If you chase it only for yourself, it will slip through your hands. But if you desire to create, to bless, to give, it will multiply. The universe supports generosity because generosity aligns with its nature. Everything in existence gives. The sun gives light, the tree gives fruit, the river gives water. When you give, you step into that current. When you withhold, you step out of it. Listening teaches you when and how to give, not from guilt, but from inspiration. Let's think of that phrase again, don't tell anyone. Listen to this for 2 minutes and money will appear out of nowhere. It is really saying stop seeking approval, stop chasing noise, stop doubting your power. Turn inward. The 2 minutes represent your return to presence. The money represents manifestation. And the out of nowhere represents the mystery of grace, the way life surprises you when you are aligned. Every invention, every breakthrough, every masterpiece began as something invisible. Before the painting, there was vision. Before the business, there was an idea. Before the success, there was a moment of quiet conviction that said, yes, this can be. That moment often comes when no one else is watching, when no one else believes. That is why you are told not to tell anyone, because the noise of disbelief can drown out the music of destiny. Some of you are waiting for permission to believe in your own calling. You think you need validation, but validation will never come early. It arrives after the work is done, not before. So stop waiting for others to understand. Take those 2 symbolic minutes and listen to the truth that already knows you are worthy. You are not trying to become something. You are remembering what you already are: creative, capable, abundant. When you align with that truth, money out of nowhere becomes natural. Ideas come that others overlook. People are drawn to your energy. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. It looks like coincidence, but it isn't. It's resonance. You are tuned to a different frequency, the frequency of trust. And yes, there will be days when doubt returns. You will listen and feel nothing. You will question. Where is the money? Where is the miracle? But don't measure your faith by immediate results. Measure it by consistency. Keep showing up to that inner stillness. Keep planting seeds of gratitude. Keep acting as though abundance is already flowing. Because in truth it is. It's just waiting for your awareness to catch up. Sometimes what appears as nothing is actually preparation. The ground must rest before the harvest. The mind must quiet before insight can dawn. Listening is the pause between exhale and inhale, the sacred gap where transformation begins. And when it begins quietly. Then suddenly everything changes. There will come a day when you look back and realize that the thing you called nowhere was actually the most fertile place you've ever stood. That silence was not emptiness. It was creation's breath. That waiting was not wasted. It was weaving connections you could not yet see. So when you hear that phrase again, remember it is not a trick, not a gimmick, but a metaphor for the truth that the power to create, to attract, to manifest has always been inside you. You don't need to chase it. You need only to listen to the quiet guidance within, to the whisper that says, everything you need is already here. And when you do, life begins to unfold with a rhythm that feels effortless. The right people arrive. The right resources appear. The money comes. Not from nowhere, but from everywhere. When you open to abundance, the whole universe becomes your ally. So, my friends, when you hear that mysterious phrase, don't tell anyone. Listen for 2 minutes, and money will appear out of nowhere. Remember what it truly means. It is not a promise of magic, but a call to awaken the power that already lives within you. The money is the manifestation of your faith, your focus, your courage to believe before you see. The listening is your invitation to pause long enough to hear the wisdom that your restless mind tries to drown out. And don't tell anyone is the reminder that some truths grow stronger in silence until they are ready to bloom. If you will listen, truly listen, the world will begin to respond in ways that seem impossible. You will find that life has been waiting not to give you a miracle, but to make you one. Because abundance does not fall from the sky, it rises from within. The moment you stop chasing and start believing, the moment you stop doubting and start acting from faith, everything changes. So keep your heart quiet, your mind open, and your spirit ready. Listen for 2 minutes or for a lifetime, and watch as what once seemed to come from nowhere begins to flow from everywhere.